Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pop to Culture. I'm here with Chad and Alex. Today I'm pointing to the wrong side of the screen. Hello, everybody.
This.
It's reversed for me, so I'm like, which side do I point to?
Now that you said reverse, now I know which way to go. See, look.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here today to talk about some really exciting stuff, especially the new Macross Delta Zettai live trailer that dropped over the weekend.
Oh my God.
Gave us a release date, gave us a peek at some new characters, new key visual, some more images of the new characters because they're on the cover of the soundtrack for the movie. Like, there's a lot, and all of it was revealed through a live stream program before the trailers went up on YouTube.
And what was the biggest reveal that everybody just kind of like got excited about? Let's just get it over
Daddy
with.
Max! Big Daddy Max is back!
Max!
Yeah! I'm so excited.
Or is it Michelle that's...
Oh my God. Okay, you guys laugh, but because the Discord servers I'm in were just blowing up all day after the trailer came out and after it was revealed to be Max, right? And I posted the tweet from the official Macross Twitter that says the famous serious genius pilot Max returns.
Yeah.
Like, it's confirmed on social media, and I posted it, and this guy was like, well, how do we know it's Max?
Oh no.
And I'm like, it says it right here in the tweet. Like, you don't even have to read Japanese to know it. You can just say Google Translate, and it still says genius pilot Max returns.
You're preaching to the choir here, because I posted my weekly update on the Macross Mecha Manual, and tons of people are just like, yeah, but do we know it's Max?
I like it. I like the disbelief,
stuff like that. And then people are saying, there's a lot of people who are saying, well, it looks like it could be like, Michelle from Macross Frontier, because look at his hair. His hair is like kind of like blondish. It's not really green.
It's gotta have the signature.
I had to go through everything with them. I had to hold their hand and walk them through all of the steps of it. It's like, okay,
right?
It's Max. His glasses are tinted. Michelle does not wear tinted glasses. Also, he never wears his glasses while his helmet is on.
Right. And his hair is still blue.
And his hair is still blue, yeah. And the glass on Max's helmet here in this screenshot from the trailer is also tinted. And anybody who knows anime knows that they use colors to signify different forms of light or tints of glass. So his hair could very well be the same color we always know, but when you're looking at it through an orange pane of glass, it's going to be a different color.
Yeah.
That's how anime works. So, and I had to explain this to like a bunch of people, and it's still going. The thread is like blowing up. It's going.
Yeah. I was going to edit my post, and I was like, but is it going to make a difference? And I was just like, no, you know what? Just let them have it.
Just let them have it.
Yeah. Everyone's super excited, and like even Sho Hayami tweeted in response to the new key visual and the announcement of Max's return. Also, like, he's got an official credit in the list of character credits already.
Nice.
Yeah, like, it's confirmed he's back, and he's flying one of my favorite Valkyries. He's flying a YF-29 painted blue. Like,
I was just gonna say that, because I was just like, as soon as I saw it in the trailer for the first time, I was like, I know what Celia's gonna do. She's gonna go crazy when she sees this, because it's like her favorite Valkyrie of all time.
When I saw it, I was like, if they come out with a full set version of the blue YF-29, I'm gonna go crazy.
Make it rain.
I'm gonna sell the other one.
There were some folks who were like lambasting it too. It's like, what is he doing flying a YF-29?
Oh God!
It's like,
why wouldn't he fly a YF-29?
Even to this day, even post Delta, that the YF-29 is still the beast Valkyrie of the franchise. Nothing else beats it. It's like stats wise anyway, for whatever that's worth. And so it is the highest performing Valkyrie that has ever been created, and by a wide margin.
Yeah.
And it's also armed more heavily than any other Valkyrie except for armored packs. Those are the only things that have more guns and missiles than this thing does, just in its default configuration. And the thing is, like, it's armored like it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. The thing is a beast of a mecha. And so my question was, like, Why would Max be piloting the YF-29? Why would he be piloting anything else other than the YF-29?
Exactly. Someone of his skill level, you really think that, like,
they
I don't know,
the
it's
best one, and
exactly
that is the best one at this point.
And like, I understand that there's also the nostalgia element with Max, but like, do you really expect him to fly a VF-1 in this current space battle in 2067? Like, that's so ridiculous, you know. Or what was the one that was at the flight school, the training model or whatever that they showed in the Delta flashback? I can't remember which one that
is. Yeah, they had like a VF-1 EX that they used in Delta.
Yeah. But like, you're not gonna, that's like bringing a World War II bomber to current air warfare in the year 2021. It makes no sense. It makes no sense from a technical or a strategic standpoint. So
yeah,
there's no question he wouldn't fly newer tech.
He's piloted so many Valkyries throughout, like the video games and the
Macross 7. He was piloting the VF-22.
Yeah,
you know, like that was his bird during that show. Like, you know, so I don't see anything wrong. And like you said, Alex, the video games as well. I mean, hell, Delta had that little screenshot near the end of the series where it showed his VF-9 and Milia's VF-9 as well, the two of them.
That's right.
And they had their own flight school at one point. And so it's like, actually, some people gave me a little bit of trouble about that too when I posted the weekly update for the Macross Mecha Manual. They're like, where's his other stuff? Where's his like VF-1S from Do You Remember Love and whatnot? And I'm just like, do you guys realize how many Max and Milia variants there are in Macross?
Right.
There are dozens of them, dozens.
Yeah,
you could post like you could post like a post on
post
social media with like
everything that he's written in. Some guy would be like, "What about the SDFs that he captained? Huh?
Exactly,
where's those at?"
There's a Milia equivalent somewhere.
Why is the Battle 7 here? You know, like why? You know, like,
Red Battle 7 for Milia.
Where's this Destroid, Chad?
That's an awesome idea. I should do a Milia version of the Battle 7.
That would be sick.
Okay, new idea. I gotta write this down.
Now, there's something that I need to clarify for English-speaking fans, because one of the not complaints, but I guess one of the things I saw that where people were questioning whether or not it could be Max is they said he didn't look old enough. Because at the time of Macross Delta, as he's appearing in this movie, he'd be in his mid-70s. He's an old man, right?
Yeah.
But he's also the series hottie. They can't give him too many wrinkles. They can't make him look too old. He's always been the hot one since SDF. Even in Macross 7, he's still the hot captain with strong daddy energy. Like, you can't make him look too old.
Yeah, the bridge bunnies are all chasing after him and stuff like that too. Yeah, it's just, you gotta, I think it's, people just have to get over it. Even way back when Macross 7 was released and everybody was talking about like, how come Max and Milia don't look old? You know, Max in particular, they kind of focused on him. And Mikimoto himself commented on it. There's that like quote that he has, and let me get it right here, because if I get it wrong, people are gonna like, you're gonna they're gonna let me have it.
You gotta get that big Mick energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just it's something that the creators themselves acknowledge, and they just don't care. It's anime. They can get away with it, and so they're going with it, and they're also having fun with it. Right. So it's like, you can do this in anime. In like live action, all of your actors like age, you know, which is why like reunions of old shows and stuff like that are so like such a mixed sort of emotions kind of thing, because all of your all the characters that you knew 20 years ago when they were doing their shows or movies, they're all old now.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens. But with anime, you can get away with it. Here it is. The quote. Haruhiko Mikimoto was asked about this, and he says, "Why does Max look so young in 2045?" This was when Macross 7 was released, and it's set in 2045. And he said, "Because he's a genius. Growing old is a state of mind for the average man," he says, and laughs.
Hell yeah. Go Mikimoto.
Zing.
But you know what though? Like what's kind of funny is that like that applies also kind of to Sho Hayami, because he's an older, he's older, much older now than when he voiced Max in SDF and in 7, but he's still voicing very young characters. In fact, he plays like I think he's in his early 20s, but he's the character is Jakurai from the Hypnosis Mic rhythm game video game franchise.
Wow.
And he raps for that group.
Oh my God. That's
How
awesome.
old is he now?
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But he's older and his voice hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
Let's see, he's 63 and he's still voicing, these really young hot characters for an idol boy band game. So
wow.
Why?
Nice.
Like that's the thing. Is like, why would
That's
you even
crazy.
question it? Like it's just like Max. Sho Hayami is immortal. So
Yeah.
Actually, there was one of the fun things about it is there's a bunch of people coming up with like different fan theories for why he hasn't aged. For everything from like my cloning chambers, because he's been like he gets regenerated. They say he gets regenerated every time he goes through a my cloning chamber. Same thing with Milia. That's why they're so young and stuff like that. Other people were saying, "Oh, come on, it's the future. They got better nutrition, better medical technology, all that sort of
better
stuff."
Plastic surgery.
I was about to say better plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. Move over, Korea.
Why not?
So yeah, it's just like stuff like that. People have been doing all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of funny. It's fun. Actually, I came up with my own sort of theory, which is kind of supported by the anime, and that I think they've just been doing a lot of fold travel, because fold travel like has that whole like time differential thing with it, right? They mention it in SDF Macross. Misa states that an hour spent in super dimension space is the equivalent of 10 days in normal space, which is a huge time gap. So there is the possibility that if you did a lot of fold travel, say, for example, if you were on a colony ship and you were traveling across the galaxy, folding from one location to the next for a long extended period of time, you would actually end up, with a significant amount of time, saved by doing that relative to everybody else in the galaxy. And that's just sort of like a side effect of fold travel. And they mention this again actually in Macross Frontier as well, in the episode where Alto escorts Cheryl to Gallia 4. They come out of fold space and they mention that they have to readjust their chronometers on their ships to adjust for the time difference between fold space and normal space. So that is still a thing that the writers are writing, and they're writing consistently, even 25 years later, after the original series. So they're sticking with it. They're doing that. So that could kind of maybe explain a little bit. Maybe he's shaved off quite a few years just by traveling in fold space a lot.
Maybe.
I don't need the explanation.
I'm gonna stick with my reasoning that he is legally obligated to still be the hot one after all these years. So he has to look youthful.
That's your big daddy energy obsession, Celia.
Daddy energy.
Who isn't obsessed with big daddy energy?
Right?
Yeah.
That's right, man. You're the odd one out here, Alex.
We didn't even see him without his helmet. It's just like one screenshot of his face.
I will say I'm not going to fully judge how he looks as an old man until I see his hair. I got to see the haircut. Max has always had very nice hair.
Yeah, there appears to be some sort of like character definition. I think if you look at the shot and stuff like that, he has what appears to be some lines coming down his cheeks. So there is a little bit of aging there, what seems to be going on. And it looks like he's got, people have mentioned it looks like he's got
little soul
hair.
patch.
He's got a little soul patch there.
I don't know how I feel about the soul patch yet. I have to see the full thing. I have to see it with the haircut, like without the helmet on. And
Does he have crow's feet?
I don't think there's a way that it can make Max not attractive.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They may prove me wrong.
No, I think
he's got a bad haircut.
I haven't seen anybody complain though. That's the thing. I've just seen people say
No,
like,
people
"Are
are
you
just
sure
like,
that's Max?" Everybody's happy that
Yeah.
they're
that he's
geeking out.
bad.
They're geeking out, and a lot of people, even when people complain, they're not really complaining.
They're not really complaining.
It's just
like,
their
how
way
could
of
it
geeking
be?
out.
They're just like in a state of disbelief.
Yeah. They're just
I
having
will
fun.
say that Max's appearance in the trailer, front and center, I'm split on, because like part of me, I'm super excited because I know he's going to be there, and he's probably going to play a larger role because he is present in the trailer. Like, I think if he were just a cameo, they wouldn't include it, because other cameos before in Macross weren't directly advertised. But I also I've been traumatized by Disney Star Wars, where they like to lean heavy on nostalgia just for marketing's sake. So there's this little bit of hesitance that I feel, where it's like, are you including him because he's actually like a larger player in this story that's being presented, or is it to try to draw in the older fans to help sell the movie?
That's exactly what Brandon was telling me yesterday too.
I think it could be both and more. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there has. I understand your concern. It's certainly a possibility that he's just there for a nostalgia draw. I mean, they're not above that. I mean, they've been doing stuff like that in a lot of the shows from Frontier to Delta for a while now, right? They throw us a bone. They even give us a little minmay inside of a locket on a ring, and stuff. It just they're clearly they're pulling out the carrot, and they want the older fans to definitely get drawn into it. So there is the possibility that Max's inclusion in the new movie is just that. On the flip side, I have heard a bunch of people, there's been posts on both my Facebook page and on Macross Fan Central and on the Twitter accounts as well, that people are like, is this going to be like another Isamu in the second Frontier movie, where he's going to be there for all of 10 seconds and then leave? And I was like, I understand that, that hesitation, that concern, that worry, but I don't think that this is the case. I mean, even just from the footage alone in the trailer, we know that it's going to be more significant than Isamu's appearance in Macross Frontier. I mean, Isamu technically didn't even appear. His Valkyrie appeared, and we heard his voice.
It was just his voiceover.
That's it. And it was a flyby. All he did was fly by in his mecha and give us old Macross Plus fans a little bit of a thrill, and that was it. Max is appearing like his character. They did a redesign of his character. It's clearly still him, but he's speaking in the trailer. He's obviously got dialogue, and his mecha action in that blue YF-29 is clearly more than just a flyby. The trailer plays an entire sequence where he transforms, he starts fighting and shooting, all sorts of stuff. So it's not going to be an Isamu situation from the second Frontier film. It's not going to be like that. It's clearly more than that. How much more, I don't know.
Right.
Personally, I am hoping that his inclusion in the film has something to do with Mirage. There's something written, there's something substantial written about Mirage, which would be a very welcome sign, in my opinion, because Mirage needs something desperately. This is probably the last chance for this character to get something substantial written, get some sort of character arc going, get some sort of dramatic, energy around this character, and give her due that she hasn't been given yet, in my opinion, anyway. It's
the last chance for any characters to come back, any of the old characters, because really they're reaching a lot the last stage of their life. But Max is probably the most prominent one that could come back. So he's probably just gonna get off his Valkyrie, walk up to Mirage and just tell her you're adopted, and then she gets the hell out of there.
No, that's the exact opposite of what I want.
That's the exact opposite of what I want.
I want Grandpa
That's not what you guys wanted?
No, I want Grandpa Max to give Mirage a confidence-boosting pep talk
Oh, okay.
That's really what I
totally
really want. That's what
then.
I want. I really would like a family bonding moment between Max and Mirage, even if it's just
and
like
Milia. I want Milia there, and even her mom. I want everybody there.
You know, but yeah, like especially because we know Mirage has such little confidence in herself and in her abilities because she knows she's just average, and no one in the Genius family except for her is an average person. Like they're all pretty extraordinary as far as, at least for the characters that we know about that have been covered in other forms of media, right? So because Mirage realizes that she's just normal, you know, and feels that pressure to try to do better because she sees even her squad mates performing better, you know, that I kind of want Max to connect with her at some point and be able to kind of talk to her a little bit about believing in yourself and pushing past your own limits.
Man,
that's what I want. I want something really sweet.
I've always wanted, and what I thought they were doing when we first watched Delta was I thought they were really going to just concentrate, like it was going to be an arc for Mirage where she sort of realized, you know, she sort of came to peace with the fact that she is not a super talent, like both her grandfather and her grandmother, and like a lot of the others in the Genius family, like, you know, Celia described. But I really felt like it was that Delta specifically was an opportunity for her to step up as like a team coordinator, like somebody who is like, you know, and someone who can lead and can mesh a team together, rather than relying on her super abilities to carry the day. She's the one of the group who's the most like dedicated, disciplined, which she was, and she could use those advantages to form a cohesive unit, a team of people who, although they might not be not any of them might be exceptional except for Messer, you know, in the group. It's Mirage who, through her skills as a leader and able to coordinate everybody, that made the group, the squad, the Delta squad, into an exceptional team. And that felt like that was where Delta was going until they chopped the legs out from under that, you know, that subplot, and just didn't give her that. And that is like such a great idea. That is such a dramatically compelling way to make her like an amazing character, even if she's not an ace pilot. And that's what they should have done. And I'm hoping that they do maybe something like that with the film, where maybe like part of the talk, the confidence booster that she needs is Max telling her that it's like she has other skills, like her leadership, her team coordination, her ability to bring people together and make them work as a unit, that is far more valuable than any one pilot. And that's what's going to make her win the day. And when she realizes that, she does that for herself and for everybody else in her squad, and boom, there you go. And that's such a great, like, that's such a great thing. And I wish that they would do something like that with that character.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
You guys haven't learned. We've been through this. Come on. Is Delta going to deliver?
Well, this is its last chance to, in my opinion. So
yeah,
and it's already in the can. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, well, and like they're already introducing so much more. Like we've only talked about Max so far. Yeah, there is so much more that they are throwing into this as well. And there's also the short, the Macross Frontier short, that's also going to be screening with the movie.
That's right.
That also got a trailer that went live this weekend as well.
Oh my God.
Like. Oh my goodness. So yeah, apparently we're getting Valkyrie in this movie.
And
by that I mean literally the name of the group is Yamikure.
Yamikure.
And Yami means dark in Japanese. So it's just dark Valkyrie. So the spelling is interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's the word Yami, like Yami, space Q space Ray, Ray. Yamikure. And I'm like, okay, that's an interesting.
I hate writing it. That's for sure.
To write that.
Yeah, I hate typing it. I'm like, oh, Yamikure. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Especially on the phone, it's like
when you write it in Japanese, it's much easier. because like you can write it either with the kanji yami and then kyure, like the end of Walkyure, or you could just write it out in katakana. But in English, it's a pain in the ass and it looks dumb.
So all right,
who cares about English?
It's cute. So that means there's another movie coming out after this, right? We talked about this.
This isn't Evangelion.
It's the middle. So,
oh my goodness.
Who's voicing these girls? I mean, it's already September. It's coming out next month.
Yeah. So apparently, and this is just what I've seen online. I haven't watched the live stream myself, but apparently at the live stream where they were talking about the trailer and revealed it before it went up on YouTube, Valkyrie will be voicing Yamikure.
That's weird. Is it going to be the exact same voices, or what's going on?
No, and like when you look at the designs for Yamikure, they're really cool.
Yeah, I like they are.
Yeah,
I like them a lot, and I
them,
really like that they basically said, "Let's take Valkyrie, but make them alternative goth."
Yeah.
Like like it's really neat.
It's got a little bit of a punk energy to it. I like it.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, it's got a little bit of an Ani sort of energy to it. There's like this, they got kind of like almost a demonic kind of appearance.
Yeah, they totally do.
Is super cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, the green one even has like horns, right?
Horns and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the different eyes. The different colored eyes and whatnot. That was like
Rena cool. She would also have horns.
Yeah.
No,
let's be real.
They had to make her extra evil by adding the literal horns.
And then like the anti-machina looks like she's about ready to murder someone.
Yeah, she would have a tail for sure.
Yeah.
Machina would have a tail.
She could kill me. I don't care. The Filipino Macross community is calling them the misfits for some reason. I'm like,
Gem and the holograms.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
Gem I thought it was the punk band
versus the misfits.
Yeah.
Oh,
which I totally see the connection. Like that's actually a really great way. Someone made that connection, I think, on Anna Twitter.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, they posted. They posted the new key visual by Mita Chisato, and instead of the kanji in the middle, they put a bar, and then it said Gem and the Holograms versus the Misfits. So it had Valkyrie on one side and Yamikure on the other.
Makes sense. I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, they look so cool. I am kind of curious to see how they fit into the story, especially because, like, we only have movie runtime. This isn't like another TV series. So I'm really interested to see where they're going to go with using Yamikure. Like, I don't think they're the big bad in this story. I think that they're likely a tool used by the ultimate villain, just because the impression I get, since we're using music in combat, and that's something that Delta and Frontier established, means that Walkyrie can't be the only tactical sound unit out there, right? In theory.
It would figure, yeah.
So that's what kind of where I'm leaning with Yamikure, is that they are someone else's musical weapon.
So they showed more of that that black, what is that, a VF or SV?
The new neon fighter jet thing. I don't know the name of it, but it looks sick. I'm really excited.
From the little that we saw of it, it looks pretty sweet so far. I can't wait to see more of it and how
it looks pretty crazy too. Like in the trailer, they show it like getting like hit by a bunch of like enemy fire, and there's like, I don't know, that whatever armor it has is like pretty badass because it's just shrugging stuff off and like nothing's landing and hitting, doing any sort of damage to it. So it looks like it's just like beasting its way through everything.
Right?
Yeah. There's so much that, like, even in this trailer, they didn't include any of what, like, it seemed like maybe in the first trailer that Keith was coming back. Like, there's like almost like an entire storyline that they didn't even touch on this trailer. That was kind of like presented in the first one. I don't really remember the second trailer all that much, but that's almost like a whole new element. I mean, we saw that fighter in previous trailers, but this time we kind of like saw it changing configurations and stuff. Or is that the armor coming out?
This is the first time we've seen the full shape, at least, of it in fighter mode. Because in the previous trailers, they showed close-ups of the head. when it's in Batroid mode. At least I assume it's Batroid mode. And the head has like this really neat, like just, it looks very much like Breath of the Wild, like the aesthetic that the head has, the way it looks like a big eye, but it also isn't like super clean. Like it's got this really neat organic look to it. But then when you see it in the trailer in Batroid mode, it looks super futuristic and not nearly like, it doesn't really fit that similar aesthetic. So that could just be something that changed, you know, in production as they were putting these together. But it looks really cool. I think what's also kind of interesting, because remember when Kawamori shared that sketch of the new fighter that would be appearing in this movie? And it's like a black blob. No?
I don't remember that. No, I don't.
I'm going to see if I can find it for you guys.
All right,
it looks so different than what he showed in that sketch. And obviously, like, when he shares it, he can't like spoil anything, you know, or give away what the new Valk is going to look like. But the only similarity that I remember between that sketch and then the final design we see in the trailer is the shape of the nose cone.
Yeah, it's still the same thing. I mean, it's like that design that he drew is basically just, you know, like it's a one of his many production sketches that he does. He does concept art for everything whenever he's building it. There's enough there that tells you that it's like that's the one that he was working on. And now that we have the trailers and we see the thing in full CG, it's clear that that was the one that he was working on to begin with. When you going back to the art books and stuff, there's all sorts of art book imagery that shows like the concepts of like all of the major like Valkyries that he's created and what they looked like before he got to the finalized design. And that happens all the time. So I think that the neon, whatever we're calling it, I don't know what to call it right now, except the neon Valkyrie, the quad engine neon Valkyrie. I think that's the only thing that we can call it right now at this point. That sort of like concept illustration that Kawamori released like last year now, is it, or something? It was a while back. I think that's definitely meant to be this one that we see in the trailer. I think it's the same one. It was just the different stage of development when he released that initial illustration.
Right. So you know how he builds everything out of Legos when he's designing it? I'm really curious to see if this one got a Lego model and what it looks like. Like,
almost positive that it did.
How do you get those how do you get those things on the arms that are like sticking up in the back, you know, that look like the extra engines or whatever? How do you get those to move around as Legos? Like,
Legos are pretty fucking incredible, man. But yeah,
it looks so cool. And like we have, oh my goodness, the CG on it looks slick too. I mean, granted, it's still just a brief clip. And it's pretty dark because it's out in space and it's also a dark vehicle, but it looks good. Like I didn't see anything about it that made me go, ooh, the CG doesn't look that great this time. Like it looks really nice.
Yeah.
The quad engine neon Valkyrie is probably one of the things that I'm curious about the most, other than Max and his YF-29. But yeah, that's the one that I'm curious about the most. I want to know exactly what's going on with that thing. It looks like it's going to be like a pretty difficult enemy to defeat based on just that little, you know, action sequence we saw of it in the trailer.
Yeah.
It might have something like akin to like the Vajra, where like the Vajra were like very resistant to like most weapons, and you had to really like either like attack them physically and carve them up with like, you know, lightsaber knives and whatnot,
right?
Or you had to use like, you know, you had to rely on Michel with his like super powered sniper rifle that could go through everything. That was the only way to get through them and defeat them, sort of thing. So maybe that neon Valkyrie is using like a form of like energy conversion armor that's like very similar to the Vajra. It's like super powerful, so it's like really hard to take down and, you know, inflict any sort of damage on it, because it was just flying like a boss in that trailer.
Maybe the pilot is half Vajra and half Alto. I don't know.
Somehow I knew you were going to go that direction, but even when it came out of your mouth, it still caught me by surprise.
Because every other species has a half-human version of it, right? Like
Alto's been getting busy with the vodka queen. Don't tell Cheryl.
Looks like he found his wings after all.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be cool. And then they had all those armor Valkyries and of course, that's why I have 29.
Everyone got an armored pack in this trailer.
Everyone gets a.
They even showed them transforming into Batroid mode with the armor, like with those big chunky armor packs on, which I didn't think you could do. But
no, they showed it in the first movie, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
I don't remember.
They did. I don't remember any of the movie, but I think I remember that part. The first movie. But I think, because I was thinking like there was 5 of them, but there was only really 2. It was Chuck and Arid that were like our characters, and I was like, so who's in those other 3? I think by then I don't know if Messer was dead, but then Hayate and Chuck. Hayate was down in the ground with Freya and Mirage, and so I couldn't. And I remember there was 5 of them, different colors, and I think they transformed into Batroid. But it's been a while.
I admit I'm probably gonna have to rewatch the first one before watching this new movie because it's been so long, and I didn't particularly care for the first movie, so not too much of it stuck out to me and stuck in my brain. So, well, I guess the other thing about this trailer that we should probably address also is that there is currently no global release information for it.
Oh, yes.
I know a lot of people have been asking if it's going to get a global release, especially because it's coming out after that announcement in April that allows Big West to work with licensors to distribute Macross internationally. And some people are even taking some wording from the caption on one of the earlier trailers after the agreement. I believe it's the second one, where it talks about enjoying Big West's first global release for Macross. But it's talking about the video that's posted on YouTube because it's one of their first videos that was globally released, that hadn't already been published prior. Not that Zettai Live is going to get a global release. And quite honestly, if they were going to get one, we probably would hear about it sooner rather than later. And if we get one, we're not going to hear about it until after it's already premiered in Japan. That's just the way it works. First, it runs in Japan for at least a month or 2. And then, any global screenings will be announced after that.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's asking, when it's coming out, how we're going to see it. And, it's like, we're not going to see it anytime soon because it's all theatrical, There won't be downloads. There won't be downloads. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now.
Yeah, most people outside of Japan are probably not going to see this movie until it comes out on Blu-ray. And that's also assuming that the Blu-ray has subs on it already, just like previous releases. If it doesn't, people will have to wait a little bit longer for subs to be added. So
it'd be weird if it didn't have subs, right? Because everything
I think so too.
So since was it Frontier?
The Frontier. So one company did the subs for the Frontier Shooty Star box set, and then Creative Sphere has been doing subs for Delta since the TV series, and then Passionate Walkyrie. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It would be weird if they didn't subtitle the second movie since they already did the TV series and the first one.
What do you mean the TV series? You mean the Delta series?
Yeah, Delta TV series. That had an official subtitle release.
Subtitled Macross Plus, right? The Blu-ray release, was that subtitled, or did they just have the dubs on there?
I don't remember if that one was subtitled. I know it had the dub. Yeah, but I don't remember if it had subtitles.
I don't think it had subtitles. If I remember correctly, it
did
not.
Yeah,
it didn't.
I don't remember.
It did
not. It did not.
It did not.
Just the dubs.
Yeah, I think it was just or wait a minute, maybe it was just. No, it didn't. No, I'm almost positive it did not.
All right, Amazon, help me
out. I know. I was just about to look it up, but yeah, It'd be weird if the Macross Delta new movie won't have the subs in it. Like, I mean, people are collecting the Delta series, the movie, and then all of a sudden this one doesn't have it. It's just kicking the balls.
No. Okay, so I looked up the Amazon listing. No wonder this thing is so damn expensive. So the box set, it's the Macross Plus complete Blu-ray box set Encore press version. The specs for that is that it has subtitles in English, language in Japanese and English. And it has the OVAs and the movie edition on it. And that's the one that has the shiny art that Tenjin did with the 21 and the 19 crossing each other. Like, so no wonder that box set is so hard to find and so expensive when you do find it.
So it is sub, or is it just the series or the OVAs that are sub?
It didn't specify. It said that there are subtitles on it. But
somebody knows, write it below. I can't believe I'm saying that.
If someone has that box set, please comment and tell us if it actually has useful subtitles. Get a Blu-ray player.
I don't have a Blu-ray player.
Don't let that box set go to waste.
No, I buy it for the box. I don't want to play the Blu-rays.
Disc rot is a real thing, Alex. Don't let something bad happen to those discs.
I'll laminate it. Nothing will happen to it.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. But yeah, now that tangent has gone way over there. So at this point in time, no global release for Zettai Live. Be patient. Okay. Be patient. If there is gonna be one, it'll be announced eventually. You just have to wait until after it comes out in Japan first. And if there's not one, then we just have to wait until the Blu-ray comes out. And that'll be in what, like 6 to 8 months?
Oh my God.
Like that's generally the time frame for this stuff anyways. And like, I know we've been spoiled because of the official subs on stuff, and getting things really quickly in this age of streaming. But remember, there was a time where we had to wait almost a year between the Frontier films coming out in theaters and them coming out on Blu-ray, and they didn't have subs. Like I remember because I was that person who pre-ordered them as soon as they went out.
I've already in my head, I have already converted from old man anime fan to spoiled online, anime fan, where I get everything right now when I want it on every platform, and I won't settle for anything less.
I will wait patiently for this movie. I don't.
No, it's true though. It's true how spoiled we have become. We're just here. We are complaining about whether or not it's going to get an international release when we know we're going to get access to it one way or another anyway. But we just want our Macross to be like, we want Big West to be able to send everything, like especially any new Macross our way. We want to be able to see it on like Netflix or Amazon or something like that day, like Evangelion.
Right? Give us the Ava treatment.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. So since Max appears in this movie, if it gets global distribution, so this is all, at this point, this is theory/speculation. It's not fact for anyone who's watching. How do you think that will be affected by the current agreement? Because Harmony Gold has the licensing rights to the animation and character designs from Tatsunoko Production, including Max. He looks different, but he's the same character.
No, it legally it would be fine, even though it's the same character, because every time you make an anime, you have to submit the character designs individually for that production and have them like registered and say this is what this character is in this anime. So Max and Macross 7 is a different intellectual property than Max in SDF Macross. Absolutely. So there would
almost not the same character either. I mean, different names, different logos, different. It's almost a different character.
I mean, we know it's Max, but I mean, his character design is significantly different. And it's also done by different artists. That's the other thing too. Like, you have like the Mikimoto style from the original series, which is not what's followed in like the other Macross shows. So there's always going to be that as well, which is like, even though it's doing the same character, and we could use Macross Zero as a perfect example of this. Roy Fokker looks like so different from his design of SDF Macross versus Macross Zero that it's like, unless you knew that it was the same character, most average viewers wouldn't even know. They wouldn't, like, this is supposed to be that character from like 1982. They don't even look anything alike. I didn't know that. You know, that's how most people would react. It's only like, you know, fans in the know that would like be able to tell the difference.
That works for me. I'm like, that was one of the things that came into my mind the other day, where I'm like, I wouldn't.
That's sort of a worst case scenario.
Put it past. I don't know. This is just me. I admit that I am not very kind when it comes to Harmony Gold. So there's a part of me that's like, I wouldn't put it past them to try to be like, well, Max Genius is Max Sterling in Robotech, therefore blah blah blah. So so that's why I'm like, would they? Could they? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely, but
yeah, I don't think that's I don't think that's a problem either. And I mean, the agreement, as far as like even before the ceasefire between Big West and HG, we were told that legally Big West has all the rights to use all the character designs from all the other derivative like sequels and stuff. There was no way that Harmony Gold could stop them from using Max Genius in Macross 7. It just wasn't, like, it was Big West's baby. That's it. They didn't have any say in it. And that was before this whole announcement. That was in those court cases from the EU and everything. It was like they hold the rights to all of that. And HG doesn't have any rights to any of that. Not the animation, not the character designs, not the music, nothing. So they're out of luck when I think when it comes to that. So I think that I know what you're thinking, and I know why you're thinking that, and believe me, my mind goes there too as well. Like, that's, I think the worst, you know, when it comes to anything, you know, that has to do with the Robotech and HG properties here in the West. So, but I just don't think that that's the case.
Cool. I mean, we'll get to see it in a year.
Eventually. I'm really looking forward to it. October 8th. Can't come soon enough. But also, that just means that our suffering is prolonged and worsened, because then we know it's out. And people are going to be talking about it online who can actually go see it. So,
would you say that this movie is more anticipated than the last Delta movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's not just because of Max, right? It feels like people are actually interested in this movie before last week's trailer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, and especially because it's been billed as a direct sequel, and it's been delayed twice for COVID.
You can't use the word sequel, somebody told me.
Don't listen to them.
Okay.
It's a sequel. It is a sequel
for the first movie,
for the first movie, just like the Frontier movies. Like, you know, like the one or two people who have been like, Kawamori doesn't do sequels. It's like, well, no, not to TV series, but he likes to do two-parter movies recently.
Well, each series is a sequel to the series before,
right? Every series is a sequel. It just follows different people. So So I do think there's a lot more anticipation with this, with new Valkyrie songs, a new original story, new fighters, like all the stuff that they've been teasing us up to this point. And now we're only about 2.5 weeks from it opening in Japan to the entire public. Like,
when are we going to get a Yamikure single? Is there any word of any songs, anything that's involving them? Have you seen all the fan art coming out?
There's already so much fan art.
There's a lot of fan art. Yeah.
Their imagery has only been available for like 72 hours, and there's already so much fan art for Yamikure.
This weekend,
crazy stuff.
Like there's this one fan artist that I follow who goes by Ron. I think their Twitter handle is like Mochiron Potato or something like that. I can't remember. But they posted a fan art of Yamikure's Freya equivalent. within like 2 hours of
that's
the
insane.
new visual dropping, and it looked pretty solid.
Yeah, there's another guy who does a lot of Max and Milia fan art on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I think his name is Yumajiro or something like that.
Yume Kijiro. I follow them too.
Yeah.
I love them.
He had like again like within the day or maybe even less, he had a new like sketch of Max appearing like from the Delta Zettai trailer with his helmet on and stuff, and like another like him from Max and Milia from the Macross 7 era talking to each other about his appearance, I think, in the Delta trailer. And then they had a picture and a drawing of him, and it was like, that was fast. That was like they must have like been there like online watching, and they're like, okay, I gotta sketch something like right now, you know, and then post it online as soon as possible, you know, sort of thing. So,
first.
Right.
Yeah, so, but no, it's great. It's awesome. It's
hilarious great.
how stuff like that happens, and yeah, it's lots of fun. There was also people who were posting like, I think either like customized YF-29s with blue colors or photoshopped photos of the YF-29 with the red.
I've seen some 3D work already of the
YF-29.
YF-29.
Already. Yeah, it's fast.
Yeah.
And there, awesome. I know a lot of people were like, what's that logo on the back of the YF-29? What is that? Yeah, people are going crazy about it. So they're just, they're way into it. I would agree that the second film is definitely, there's more interest in it than the first. Both from a fan perspective, like just from the amount of people that are talking about it online and the amount of views I get for like Delta Zettai Live topics I have on my page. And also, like, I can confirm myself that I'm way more interested in this film than I was in the first one, for sure. Whether it's actually going to, you know, be any better than the first one or something, like, well, we're going to have to wait to find out, of course. But I'm definitely more interested in it. And now, post this trailer, I would say, yeah, the excitement has gone through like the roof. Like, there was excitement for this movie beforehand, but this Max thing has just like, turned it up a notch. There's been a bunch of people who have commented to me on my topics on Twitter and Facebook that they are now interested in this film, whereas they weren't before. You know? So and that's fine. I mean, that's a personal choice, but I'm just saying that like that's the level of like, you know, that's the next level of interest and audience like excitement that we didn't have before, for sure.
Yeah. Well, everyone wants to know what's going to happen in the movie, and honestly, like with the song that they keep playing in the trailer, you can't stop thinking about it because all you can hear in your head is Akinamenai, Akinamenai. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, so you're already thinking about the new song, and then you're thinking about the visuals, and then you go, oh my God, Max is in this trailer, and you're thinking about Max while you're singing a Valkyrie song. Like, it's very smart marketing.
Yeah,
very smart.
And when people see Max, it's like, well, who else? You know, who else is? You know, people go overboard and they're like, oh, Hikaru and Minmay, and they're already like saying, Milia is Lady M, and there's all kinds of speculation.
All sorts of all that stuff comes back. The Lady M stuff comes back.
Lady M is
Rose stuff comes back. Like it all is like, if Max is there, maybe Hikaru or Misa might show up.
Yeah,
it's like it's just.
Yeah, except Max didn't disappear in a black hole,
Yeah.
So
I know that's what I have to. But I hate like responding like that sometimes. Like it's just like it feels like you're the wet blanket when you do.
You know, I mean, essentially you are. You know, I let it happen. You know, like it's fun.
I'll be the wet blanket.
And then you know, it's like
your childhood isn't coming back.
Will be the wet blanket, ultimate wet blanket. You know,
your childhood is gone. It's destroyed.
They vanished into a black hole, and they're never coming back.
I tell like most people like
no return policy.
Most of the fans that ask the question, I'm just like, yeah, you know, you do you know, sure, go for it. You know, do your headcanon. And sort of stuff. I kind of encourage it most of the time, but every once in a while there's somebody that posts like a very like pointed or specific question. I'm like, well, technically Max and Milia appeared in Macross 7 and they're not on the same journey as Hikaru, Minmay, and Misa.
Yeah.
So
and they have relations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They have connections to the larger like Macross franchise that the other three characters do not. So I think the best that we could hope for is another like frontier like thing where we see like a little, you know, again, a portrait of Minmay inside a locket on a ring of somebody like, Bilrer, whatever his name is, Richard Bilrer, the Branson stand-in for Macross. The Richard Branson stand-in for Macross. Because I'm pretty sure that's what that name was supposed to be anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that Frontier mention actually gives us a great segue into one of our other topics for today that we'll address in the next episode, because we've already been talking about this trailer for a really long time.
It's a long show.
Because there was another trailer for the Macross Frontier Labyrinth of Time short that will be screaming with Macross Delta Zettai Live, and we'll talk about that in the next episode.
All right. See ya.